most. I think weight loss, how to gain muscle, and then posture. I get asked about it all the time, and I will be building a posture program. But posture is nothing more, unless you've got something structurally wrong, right? Posture is nothing more than a bad habit. So all too often people want me to design them a posture workout. I get that all the time. But I can give you the best exercises in here, believe me, I'll do some videos on it, but I can't correct what you're doing outside of the gym. So again, posture is an awareness, it is a habit, and unfortunately it is quite often a bad habit. So let's talk about it in terms of the 4 parts of your body. So the first part we've got to think about with posture is our head, right? So, and our head is orientated by our eyes. So whatever we are looking at is kind of where our head's going. So if we're always looking down at a phone, the head's going to come forward, these muscles are going to get lengthened, these are going to get shortened, we're going to pull from the upper back. So whatever the eyes are doing, that's why your computer should always be, straight ahead. If you're training, you should be looking at yourself in the mirror, not looking at the sky or looking at the floor. Whatever you're looking at is what your neck is doing. So this is the first part. If the head is forward, this is going to strain the neck, this is going to pull from the upper back. So being aware of what you're looking at and the placement of your head would be number 1. The second area is our shoulders. And what orientates our shoulder area is whatever our hands are doing. So if our hands are always in front of us, without an awareness, this also is going to pull this forward. Because whatever we're reaching for, and I'm afraid not too frequently are we actually like this with our arms by our sides. So it's our hands and what we're reaching for which gives us that awareness in space, and our shoulders are going to follow. So now if we're looking down and we're reaching forward, we've got the head displaced, which is pulling on the upper back, and the hands are orientating the shoulders to come forward as well. That is simply a bad habit. It is very easily corrected. You see what I'm saying? The third part here is the core area. Now the core area is the only one of the 4 that doesn't have an orientation point, meaning that the core area, rib cage, pelvis, it's about stabilization. And I can do, I'll do a whole video on pelvis and scapular stabilization. But if we've got like postural collapse here, no awareness, again, it's going to ricochet up our body. But this third quadrant is all about stabilization, and not just about training abs, it's about an awareness. Without even training abs, we can bring this into place. I mean, simply by asking somebody to squeeze their butt corrects that pelvis, right? Without any workout. Just they're either sloppy here or they're sloppy here, and I'll say pull your shoulder blades together and nip your butt. It corrects a lot of wrongs. Your pelvis, again, it should be headlights in the mirror. Your headlight shouldn't be pointing down or up. They should be straight ahead. And you can correct that simply by squeezing your butt. It will pull that pelvis into place. Again, this is an awareness. The 4th quadrant is going to be the lower body, and what's orientating it there is the feet. So wherever the feet are going. Now, if the feet aren't going very far, because you're just inactive, then that's going to be a problem. But then the feet can also ricochet into the ankles, into the knees, into the hip positioning. But again, we have 4 quadrants, 3 of which have points of orientation: eyes, hands, feet. And one of them is more a stabilization, not more, it is the stabilization quadrant. But again, posture is a habit. I was just in England, and I was with my dad, who has terrible back pain. He's like this, he's almost 90. And I had my dad, this is my dad, who's like 89 years old. He's in a lot of pain, nothing's working. I live in America, he lives in England. I don't get to do this very often with him. And I saw what was going on. I'm like, Dad, come on. Stand up, pull your shoulders back, squeeze your hips forward, bring your chin back. And I had him look at a clock that was on the wall. And I had him hold that position with his shoulders back, hips forward, chin back, and I had him hold it for 2 minutes, okay? Then I said, Dad, walk. And he stepped, he's like, Joanne, there's no pain. You know how frustrating that is. Obviously he's 8, 9, sitting down a lot, not as active, but in 2 minutes we corrected it. So then I had him sitting down, we're in the garden, and every time he stood up, I'm like, okay, Dad, think it through. Feet, hips forward, shoulders back, arms by your side, chin forward, look straight ahead, now walk. He was virtually upright and pain-free. Posture is a bad habit. I can design all the workouts in the world, and I've got a bunch of them, and I am going to build a posture program, but it doesn't start in the gym, it starts with an awareness every second of the day. So start thinking it like that. Before you do it, what are your eyes doing? What are your hands doing? What are your shoulders doing? Pull them back. And really, what are your hips doing? The easiest thing in the world, squeeze your butt, everything can fall into place. But there is a program coming, but I'll probably have to do a bunch of videos.